sure there would be people that are I just don't think there's a huge market for it, basically.
Probably not.
So,
And they're trying to compete with the Apple TV, I think, with this, which is stupid. First of all, you shouldn't do it. Just don't. Don't bother.
yeah, I mean, just looking at the track record of Sony
And
going
their
up
additional
against
devices.
Apple,
Yeah.
maybe you don't want to do that.
Yeah, just don't bother. Really, just don't bother. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. I think it's just kind of interesting though that they really are finally pushing it, but it's like taken them this long to do so, at least in America. Actually, I really have no idea if it's even like if it's even coming out here in America. It might be, but it like I have no information on the date if that's the case. So
Right.
But yeah, I mean it could be sort of what we are going to see with the next PlayStation system though. Keep that in mind. Like sort of that might be like that sort of like those abilities, the digital media hub abilities could be, well, I mean it is in the PS3 like you said already, but it'll be more overt in the next iteration of the system.
Right.
So we'll see, I guess.
Well, that's cool. Good luck, Sony,
Yeah.
with your new repetitive product.
Don't say that we didn't warn you. That is a stupid fucking idea.
What else you got?
Last story, really, and it's just sort of like I don't know. I just want to mention it because I think it's kind of cool. It does kind of show, though, how absurdly cinematic the Uncharted series is. But the Uncharted trilogy is now.
Before you jump into this, I'm just letting you know now. I just tried to start up the video that I had downloaded for this Uncharted segment, and it's not working. So I'm just gonna play some God of War video. You're talking Uncharted.
People are gonna be really confused. And that's awesome.
Maybe some Prey video. I don't know.
Just be random.
Whatever tickles my ass with a feather.
Well, at this point, there really is nothing much more to say about it except that some Reddit user named Morphine APG actually edited the Uncharted games into feature-length movies. Like, he cut down on a lot of the gameplay sequences and strung the cutscenes together with gameplay that needed to be in there to make the continuity actually make sense. Or rather, just make the continuity actually be there. And they're all on YouTube for people to watch, and they're long as hell, too. Drake's Fortune clocks in at just under 2 hours. Among Thieves is just under...
crap!
No, just get this. Among Thieves is just under 3 hours, 177 minutes. And Drake's Deception is actually 3 hours and 16 minutes. So, if you have the time and don't want to play any of these games, but would rather just watch them, then check them out. It's relatively well done. I, personally, wasn't too much of a fan of what I saw in terms of like how they melded gameplay. It wasn't very... I don't want to say the guy's a bad editor because he put forth so much effort to this. Obviously, it's impressive in and of itself, but I feel like the transitions could have been done a little bit better. But it's still impressive nonetheless. I mean, you said you never were going to play Drake's Deception or get a PS3, so you might as well watch it.
I'm not going to get a PS3. That's what I was just about to say. It's like, you know what? I might check it out because I do want to see how that story ends, and it kind of bums me out that I never got a chance to play the game. So yeah, that's actually pretty cool for me. And hey, I could handle a couple of bad edits if I get to save $60.
Well, it's Oh, what do you mean $60? You mean hundreds of dollars plus $60, however much a PS3 would cost you.
Oh, right.
Get.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's. I mean, yeah. I'm not saying the edit. Okay, I should rephrase. The editing is not bad. It's just that it still feels like I'm watching a gameplay video. I mean, it doesn't like. It doesn't really do anything. Like, if they had machinima'd it, I would have been incredibly impressed at that point.
Is it machinima'd? I thought it was machinima'd.
Machinima, I don't know. I just, I'm just saying, if they had actually utilized the game's engine to create a movie, that would have been, like, I just would have been like, I'm never playing those games again. I'm just going to watch them now as movies.
Yeah, well, they need to make those movies. And not
they will.
Some David
Marky
O.
Mark
Russell
Wahlberg bullshit.
Mark. We're gonna make the Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and Marky Mark a treasure protecting family. I think that was the premise. I almost jumped out a fucking window. But okay,
are you fucking serious right now? That was the actual premise. Oh my god,
that was his take on the Uncharted series. That's what he took away from those games. Was that Marky Mark and Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci should be a treasure protecting family of adventurers.
Well,
I seriously, and I love Three Kings. I did.
Oh,
I thought it was a fantastic
I even
movie.
like I Heart Huckabees. The guy knows how to make a good... And The Fighter, for that matter. His movies are good. It's just that he's not the kind of guy you want helming a movie like this. You want someone like Steven Spielberg helming this.
Yes, I mean, you want a direct translation.
Yeah, because it's not that hard. It's
yeah, I'm sorry, but you do not want a jerk-off Hollywood director taking liberties with the Uncharted series because they're already fantastic. There's nowhere to go but down.
So in other words, they probably just shouldn't make the movies at all.
No, make the goddamn movies. Just let me do it.
Yeah. Well,
just like everything in this world, I got to do it myself. Get it right. You think the prequels would have sucked ass if I would have been in charge, Alex von Sternberg?
Probably not,
actually.
The
world would have been introduced to Jar Jar Binks? I don't think so.
I actually think that, honestly, anybody could have done a better... Fucking Rain Man could have written a better movie than George Lucas did with those prequels. But, I mean...
Then Obi-Wan sitting there like, Wapner, 3 o'clock, Wapner.
At this point, though, I think what it needs to be said is that regardless of how good or bad the future Uncharted movie is going to be, you know, this could be sort of like a showcase of how to do it without the gameplay, obviously. I mean...
All right.
I don't think we're going to be seeing a 3-hour Uncharted movie, but if you want to, tune into YouTube. I mean, we'll probably put a link in the podcast notes either to the Reddit page or to the actual videos themselves. We'll see, but it's...
oh, no, absolutely. I'll just post the videos themselves.
Yeah, it's...
I think I'll just do Drake's Deception, though. I'm not putting 3 hour-plus videos up there to compete with our video.
To just yeah, seriously. But you know what I should mention, actually? Something
Nolan
I
North
noticed.
Can kiss my ass.
Hey, Nolan North is awesome. But anyway.
No, I know. We would lose. That's why.
Oh, in that sense,
kiss my ass.
He can kiss both of our asses then. But I was going to say something I noticed in watching just like bits and pieces of Drake's Fortune, how far that series has actually come in terms of like everything. Storytelling in particular. The story of Drake's Fortune isn't really strung together by too many cutscenes, and there really isn't that much to it in comparison to Among Thieves especially, or Drake's Deception especially. I mean, they really took no chances with Drake's Fortune as a story, and that shows that they, you know, they really have grown as a game company, or rather as a, you know, the team that has made these games.
Oh, absolutely. I think they put just enough into the mechanics of the game and the characters themselves to make people connect with them with Drake's Fortune. And then all of a sudden they realized, hey, we've got these
we got something here.
Yeah, we've got these amazingly likable characters. We've got this amazing voice actor in Nolan North bringing all of this to life.
All of them. All the voice actors are great. That's the thing.
We've got an engine that
cannot be touched.
Yeah, that can be, and it's going to scale for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're good to go, and they just put the pedal to the floor, man, and went with it.
See, that's the kind of thing that worries me about seeing the movie of Drake's Fortune is like, especially if they just follow the formula of the first game, because I feel like the same, let's just assume for a second they make these movies, the real movies, and they're just as good as the games. That means that we're in for or at least that I'm in for the same experience I had with the games, in that I liked Drake's Fortune, the story is okay, I liked the characters, but I didn't really love the characters until the second one. So I feel like it would take 2 movies to become just as good, sadly.
You know what?
I just wasn't crazy about the first one, really.
I'm thinking back to my playthrough of Drake's Fortune, and you know what? I think you're right. But I think I was a little bit different for me. I think by the end of Drake's Fortune, I put the controller down, and I'm sitting there watching the credits, and honestly, I think I realized at that point that I really, really like these characters.
Yeah, that's the thing.
When you do that, like when you watch a really great movie or play a really great game with really likable and connectable protagonists or supporting cast, you start watching those credits and you start to feel like you start to miss them a little bit.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I didn't feel that way with Drake's Fortune. I definitely felt that way with Among Thieves. And then again with Drake's Deception. I mean, Drake's Fortune, I remember when it was over, I had a smile on my face, and that was a good sign, obviously. But then I didn't even think I finished the credits. I think I was just like, oh, that was good. And then I went back to playing Assassin's Creed. I mean, I really wasn't that... I think that might have been one reason, too, because I was playing 2 games at once. I mean, but Drake's Fortune
I still
just...
hold up Among Thieves as one of the best video game endings of all time. And I'm not talking about the actual... final boss. I'm actually talking about that last cutscene between Drake, Sully, Elena. And I was just like, these characters, this could be a movie. This is almost like live action acting. They're emoting so well.
Dude, I'm telling you, you need to just then, when we're done recording and when you're done editing together everything, watch the Drake's Deception movie that I'm talking about now, because I got the same feeling from that game when I was playing it, and that'll actually be kind of interesting to see if you feel anything while not playing it. That's the thing. I think it's kind of interesting.
That would be an interesting way to end the argument that is months and months old that we used to have with Shaquille Hansford.
Yeah.
About games being far too
cinematic,
Hollywood and cinematic.
Yeah.
And not enough about gameplay. If I watch that I'll do it tonight. If I watch that Drake's Deception and I enjoy it just as much as I did while playing Uncharted 1 or 2, that's saying something.
That is saying something, but that's not necessarily saying something bad. That's where I think that I would, probably end up differing from the idea that the gameplay needs to stand out. But in any event,
yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the one thing about Drake's Deception that was really interesting was how it did have that sort of cathartic feeling, like that really great feeling Among Thieves had at the end, but in a very different way, in that it was very slight and very mature feeling and kind of sad. I felt sad at the end of Drake's Deception, not because the characters were going away and I was done with the game, but just kind of like it felt so grounded in reality compared to the last game. Which is a really weird thing to say about the Uncharted games, but they were just so human in the way they were portrayed in that game that it was surprising. It actually, it shocked me how mature the game felt.
That sounds like an ending I'm not going to enjoy.
Yeah, probably
give me
not.
Whimsical or give me death.
Oh, there's still funny stuff. Don't get me wrong, but there's like I don't want to say what happens. I'll be curious to see what you think.
Yeah, don't ruin it for me. Let's just finish it up. Let's just wrap it up.
Let's wrap this up.
I'll tell you, we can pick it back up next week. And, we can talk about it after I actually watch it. And after the audience watches it, hopefully.
Yeah,
possibly.
For sure. Maybe.
All right, dude. It's your turn at the wheel. Take us home.
It's been fun. Yes. Leading the way. Kind of there's been some bumps in the road, such as that terrible fucking segue into Call of Duty discussion land. But I had fun. Visit the site, guys, please. Pixelapocalypse.com. Give us an iTunes review. God damn it. I'm getting sick of not seeing any new reviews. I'm sure Nate is too.
I haven't checked in months.
Oh yeah.
I no longer care.
Oh, okay.
Is a dead format to me. It's like we're on there, but I couldn't give a shit less about it.
So in other words,
none of our listeners use iTunes, basically.
Well, in any event, find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter if you want, all that good stuff. Ask Nate for some Grippets. He wants to get rid of them still.
Yeah, just ask. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, he'll mail them to you right away. But yeah, it was a good show, and I suppose it's my turn to say goodbye, motherfucker.
Actually, one thing I'm gonna wrap, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check out the live stream every Sunday, 4 p.m. Next week we will be on time. I swear to God. I know we fucked up like 2 weeks in a row, but not next week. Next week, 4 p.m. on the dot. You can chill out in the comments, talk to us during the show, before the show. Pre-show starts at 3 p.m. Don't forget to visit the site, www.pixelapocalypse.com. Thank you all for listening. We are out of here. We will see you next week.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, God damn it.
Say goodbye, motherfucker.
Goodbye, motherfucker.